Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English, and this is Mukesh Soni. Friends, in this video we shall have the discussion of the important poem written by James Patrick, the American poet. The title, The Cold Within, and this poem is in the syllabus of second semester B.A. Generic English under BCU, Bangalore City University. So in this video I'm going to summarize the poem along with I mean to say along with the summary, we shall have the discussion of the important questions that will help you to revise the poem. And for all the other videos, you can just have a look into the description box. You'll find all the videos links, including the grammar and all the lessons summary plus question answers. So let's begin it. Let's know about this poem, the brief information. The Cold Within is a poem written in the 1960s by American poet James Patrick Kinney. In this poem, six humans were trapped in the cold by happenstance, means to say by happenstance, and all of them had a piece of wood which could have been put to use to save the dying fire of love. The cold was bleak and bitter, which in turn forced them to depend on each other to survive. But because they were extremely blinded by the hate, prejudices, sins, and cold-heartedness, and obviously rivalry for each other, something truly terrible happened. Now let's see what happened. What happens here? So we shall have discussion stanza-wise. Stanza number one, the poet says, six humans trapped by happenstance in bleak and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story is told. So the first quatrain here symbolizes that the six human beings that represented all of the mankind, they were trapped in a bleak and bitter cold place by happenstance. Happenstance means the event was accidental. By accidental, although it seemed to be prearranged, the cold forced them to depend on each other. They're all possessed, they all have the stick of birch that could later symbolize the sins also. In the stanza 2, the poet says, their dying fire in need of logs, the first man held his back. Four of the faces round the fire, he noticed one was black. The second stanza informs us that a lady held her stick back. She was holding a stick, but she was not showing because she suffered from the prejudice of racism. She didn't want to save the black man that she saw the face of around the fire by burning her stick. She was truly blinded by her hatred for the another race. Stanza number 3, the poet says, the next man looking across the way saw one knot of his church and couldn't bring himself to give and the fire his stick of birch. The third stanza is about a man who could not renounce his stick because he suffered from the bigotry. He saw another human being that did not believe in the same religion as he believes and decided to keep his stick back. This stanza shows that the stick that everyone held was from a birch tree. It was from the same tree. Stanza number 4, the poet says, the third one sat in the tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his lock be put to use to warm the idle rich? The fourth stanza is about a poor man who wanted to keep everything he possessed to himself. He doesn't want to share it with the lazy and the idle rich person. This shows us his prejudice of the social status. He also gives his coat a hitch to symbolize shielding everything to himself. Stanza number 5. The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. The fifth stanza is about a very rich person but very stingy man. He was just sitting back and thinking on how to keep his wealth from the ambitionless people. He suffered from his prejudice of the social status as well, and additionally, he lacked the generosity since he didn't want to share his wealth and money with the ones who really require it, who really need it desperately. Stanza number 6. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his side, for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. The sixth standard summarizes a black. This I'm sorry, it's a spelling error. The sixth stanza summarizes a black man. He speaks about a black man who suffers from the prejudice of racial discrimination. He does not want to renounce his stick of birch to save the white man. He only wants to hurt the white. That's what the line says. It was a chance to spite the white means. Means to say he would like to take a revenge. Stanza 7, the second last stanza. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. The last man of this fallen group was extremely selfish. A fallen group means to say, even though 6 humans have gathered together around the dying fire, they were very much divided, distant, and lonely. They are not together, though they are in the group. But the last man was not ready to give his stick because nobody else had given it up. So he followed the others. That was how he played the game of life, by giving only to those who gave. Not means nothing in this context. NOUGST means to say nothing in this context. And the last stanza, their locks held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They didn't die from the cold without, they died from the cold within. Very important line in the examination. You may have 5 marks question. Describe the expression, they died from the cold within. That's the title of the poem, Cold Within. Justify the title of the poem, question may appear. Significance of the title, question may appear. When the fire died, it took the lives of the 6 people with it. Death's still hands means to say the humans were holding the sticks in their hands until the point where death decided to take them. This stanza symbolizes that cold outside was slowly killing them. But since they didn't renounce the sticks, the sins, to help the dying fire of love grow, it was a cold heartedness or hatred within them that actually ended their lives. That's what the lines, they didn't die from the cold without, they died from the cold within. If all the 6 people would have given the sticks, they would have had more fire, and they would have got more warmth in the body, and they would have survived for the next day. But unfortunately, it was a dying fire, and everybody died. And they died not to the cold outside, they died due to the cold within. So this is the summary of the poem Cold Within. And now we are going to have the discussion of the important questions from the textbook. Where are the 6 men trapped? The 6 men are trapped in the bleak and bitter cold. What does the first person hold back and why? The first person hold back a single stick of wood. Third question, the third man sat in what kind of clothes? Tattered clothes. What thoughts run in the rich man's mind? The rich man is caught up hoarding his riches in his head. He is oblivious to the reality. Greed blinds him as he selfishly connives to keep his wealth. He even miserably or miserly holds onto his stick, keeping it from the poor whom he perceives as aimless and lazy. Means to say he doesn't want to help the poor person. Then explain the phrase fallen group. The poet foreshadows the fate of the group by finally describing the bunch as forlorn. That means to say hopeless. Here, metaphor has been applied. What game is the poet referring to while mentioning the last man of the group? What game is this? It's a game of life. Life. All 6 men died with their locks tightly clutched in their hands. Yes, true. So friends, this is how I have tried to give the summary of the important poem, The Cold Within, for the second semester BA. All the other lessons links, kindly have a look into the description box. Like the video if you like it, share the video to your friends, and also David to subscribe, Muddy. If you have not yet subscribed my channel, kindly do subscribe the channel. Thank you so much. Stay connected with Mukesh English.